Hello and welcome back to Deep Talks. My name is Peyton and I'm here today with somebody who I've been trying to get on this show for so long and is like such an icon in like the mental health community, especially in Canada. And it's Jacob Grosberg. How are you, Jacob?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited to be able to finally take part in the show with you.
Oh
Thank you so
my
much for having
gosh.
me.
No, oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Me
Okay.
too.
Yeah, are you ready to just jump into the questions?
Whatever you want. I'm totally
Okay,
ready.
perfect. Okay, so the first thing, again, you're a mental health activist. I kind of like asked this question in like different ways, but it's the same question to everybody who does mental health. What inspired you to start advocating?
Yeah, so when I was 14 years old, my father went through a pretty severe depression, and unfortunately, his battle did end with him taking his life. Um, when I had gone through that grief and that loss of my father, I realized that not only Canadian healthcare system, but the mental health care system all across the world is really struggling, and there isn't enough support out there in the world for people that are really going through difficult times. As mental health is a lot quieter. It's a silent killer compared to a physical illness, and so it's not taken that seriously. And when I was able to realize that my father wasn't receiving the supports he needed, I found it to be really important for me to start advocating for people that were still going through the struggles that my father was, so that they knew they weren't alone.
Well, first of all, I'm so sorry that that happened. I can ask, well, I'm just kind of interested in this, but like, do you think he sent you any signs?
So I myself personally am quite spiritual.
Okay,
So
me
I
too.
do believe in visits and signs and stuff like that. I don't know specifically if he sent me a sign to start the work that I was doing, but I felt it in me that it was something that was needed, and maybe that was something he put inside my head was you got to start advocating for people. I have received lots of visits and signs from my father, and I think it's one of the biggest motivators to keep me going through my journey as well.
Yeah, I feel like that with my Zadie.
The way that they can communicate to us, I believe, is through light. That's one of the
Yeah.
ways, is like electricity. So I find very similar, like there's a specific light in my bathroom that will only flicker when I'm in it. And the rest of the lights are totally fine. And I think it's a way that they're trying to communicate with us through
Yeah.
where they are now. I definitely agree that electricity and light can be a big source of communication for the afterlife.
Yeah, I've heard that guardian angels can actually turn on like censored lights and car alarms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like sit outside and my neighbors have like a thing that goes on, but I also have like lights in front of my house that will just randomly turn on and their house will randomly turn on. I also have Tourette's, so maybe it's that, but like the one in the front of my house, when that turns on and there's no like animal there, I'm like,
Yeah, we have one in our upstairs hallway that is motion censored, and all the time throughout the night, I'll just see it go on, and I can't hear anything. So yeah, there's definitely a way that they're
I know.
getting off these types
A
of.
hundred percent, 100%, 100%. Okay, so on to the next. Well, that was kind of the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna connect the next two.
Yeah.
So what was like the first thing that you did to start doing mental health advocacy?
The very first thing I did was launched my original, like the charity fund. At that point my main focus was to raise money and donate it out to nonprofit organizations that required funding to increase the support for those that were struggling, either in their facilities, if it was inpatient or outpatient. So the first thing I ever did was start my foundation and raise money. My first ever donation was made to Ontario Shores, the Foundation for Mental Health Sciences Hospital. So that was my first ever advocacy mental health thing I did. Was I donated money to their prompt care clinic, and then one other clinic. The prompt care clinic gives access to psychiatric services for those needing it. I believe it's within like 24 hours to 48 hours. And as you know, in Canada, the wait to see a psychiatrist could be up to a year. And so that was something that felt really close to heart for me, was the ability for those struggling to get access to um, psychiatric services promptly, prior to them having to wait on the list. But that was the first thing I did, was raise the money and donate it out to Ontario Shores, because they are a nonprofit
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah, Ontario Shores is great. I applied for a job there, but I didn't get it. But they're great. They're great. And
They're a really good
I've heard that they're
organization.
really, really good. Yeah, the with fundraising, the ones that I started with were CAMH and Sunnybrook.
Okay, nice. Sunnybrook, yes.
CAMH, you
Sunnybrook's
had to like by the end I had to like realize, okay, you have to like split it from the foundation and actually write that you wanted to go to patient care. So eventually I did that, and then Sunnybrook goes to the veterans and Herbert's as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, Sunnybrook is, I believe, it's one of the best hospitals in
Yeah.
Canada.
It's
I'm not familiar.
huge. Have you driven by it?
I've driven by Sunnybrook
It's
quite a few times.
huge.
One
What?
of my friends lives near there, so I drive by it quite often. But I have not learned much about their mental
Yeah.
health programs. I just know that
Yeah.
they're a treatment center and they deal with like the most severe cases. But I have heard nothing but phenomenal things about Sunnybrook.
Yeah, no, well, they're like the top, one of the tops in the, I think even in the country.
Yeah, they also have the
Yeah.
longest wait time in the world. I think it's like
Yeah.
up to 12 hours just to wait for a doctor, which seems insane to me
Yeah.
for a doctor, for one person to
Yeah.
talk to.
I
Excuse
mean,
me. Often.
like from my experience, like if you just like start screaming because like you're in psychosis, like they'll let you go in sooner.
If you're disrupting,
Like
maybe, I'm not sure.
like the perks, the perks,
Fair enough.
the
Fair
perks.
enough.
Um, I have to make jokes or else I'll like
You know
cry.
what? Humor is one of the best healing
It
uh,
is.
to heal. I've always believed that, you have to be able to laugh at life and just take everything with a grain of salt. And laughing is one of the best ways to
Exactly.
heal yourself.
Exactly. I literally made a TikTok of me like rating the things I did in psychosis.
Oh gosh. Well, I will be sure to like and subscribe to your
With like
TikTok.
please do. With like the iPhone like different noises behind it.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, and then I did
I
another
love
one where it
that.
was the I'm just Ken, anyone else, and then it's the I'm just Pete one, and I did it where it was like people are like too nervous to talk about their episode, and then like I'm just Pete, and I have like my whole like basket dedicated to it. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I know. I'm trying to laugh about it. Okay. So, this is the part that I'm excited to talk about. Okay, so you worked with some pretty cool organizations, like you just said, Ontario Shores, and I also saw Unsinkable Youth, which I would love to get involved with. But the coolest thing, and I was so envious when I saw this, I'm pretty sure the first one, I was like, that bitch! Like, it should be me! No. With We Day! Oh my gosh, tell me everything! Tell me everything!
I spoke of 3 wee days. It was some of the best moments of my entire life. I got my moments of fame, my minutes of fame. It was unbelievable. The way I actually got connected to the organization was quite special. We have a very close family friend of ours, Hannah Alper. My
Oh,
mom
yes.
has been friends with her parents for many, many, many years. Me and Hannah grew up together, and Hannah was part of We Day and Me to We for a long time. And when I started my motivational speaking and my charity fund, Hannah actually recommended me to the talent acquisition team at Me to We. And I was able to get onboarded from there. My first show was in Toronto. It was at the, I don't know what they call it now. They change it every 3 years. I think Scotiabank Arena.
Okay. It will always be the Air Canada Center. I don't care. And well,
Always the
no,
ACC.
no, okay. We don't like Air Canada, so maybe Scotiabank. Maybe
Scotiabank Arena.
Scotiabank is okay for right now.
Just the big, big stadium in Toronto. That's the best
Yeah.
way to
And
describe it.
there's two Rogers stadiums
Yeah,
now,
now
so
the
good
one in
luck if you're
Calgary.
coming to see a show there.
Yeah. So my first show was at Toronto. It was an unbelievable experience. I got to meet Craig and Mark one-on-one. And then I got brought to they had like a mini We Day in Niagara Falls. So it was at a nice conference hall, and it was me, another speaker, and then Mark and Craig. And we were able to speak to all of the managers and the CEO of Mastermind Toys. So that was a really great experience to be able to do that. I got to have dinner with everyone. We got to have dinner with Mark and Craig. And then one of my dear friends, Spencer West, as well, was there. And that
Oh my
was
God,
an unbelievable experience.
Spencer!
Love
Oh,
Spencer.
icon, icon.
He is one of the nicest people in the
I
world.
know,
He is
he's
just a
so
bright light
awesome.
guy,
Oh,
just a bright light, such an inspiration. I've always loved Spencer. The where he's come in life is just so unbelievable. I met Spencer my first year at We, and he was one of those big supports from me during my first few speeches. He was always there beside me, and he's just such a wonderful human being inside and out. And so he was one of the people that I got to really spend a lot of quality time with, and I still keep in touch with him quite a bit. He is truly just such a wonderful man, and an inspiration to me as well. He has gone through such hardships and is able to be one of the most inspiring people in the entire world, and that is just such a beautiful thing to see. And then I got to be brought to Montreal So they had an English show and a French show. I do not speak French. I am a disappointing Canadian.
Don't talk about
Great.
Montreal right now because I tried to get Ariana tickets.
Good luck. But I love Montreal. It is such a beautiful place. But I did get to speak there. I believe that the amount of people there was 18,000, or was it something less? It was one of the smaller shows. My biggest show was at the ACC, which was, I
Yeah.
believe, 25,000 people.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most um, like scary experiences I've ever been through, stepping
100%.
onto a stage in front of 25,000 people. It's scary, but it is at the same time one of the most beautiful things a human being can experience, having
Yeah.
25,000 people cheer you on at the same time. It's just this feeling that that'll never go away.
Yeah, that's like
Um,
I want to have like an event exact like that, but like specifically for mental health, like a mental health rally.
yeah,
And I literally like I dream of it every night. Like I'm using that imagery every day. I
you
have a
have to
playlist. I've been
manifest
doing it
it.
since I was 13. Since I was 13, and then I started advocating when I was 15, and so I've just been going from there.
I truly believe in manifestation. I actually manifest speaking at We Day, and it happened for me. And that's one of the reasons why I believe manifestation is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because for years after my father passed, I would go to sleep imagining myself walking onto a stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
That means it can happen.
And it happened for me,
Oh my
and it
gosh.
was amazing. But you can do it. Just manifest
Thank
it every
you.
single
I
night.
know, I know. So I attended We Day in 2018. So I was the year before yours.
Was it 20, did I speak in 2019?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
that would have been
Because
2019.
I
Yeah,
stalked your
yeah.
Instagram. That's how I have to do it to like find out everything about everyone and ask the questions.
Fair
Um,
enough.
and I was a volunteer. I was a crowd pumper. I still have my shirt because that's like such of what I want to
Oh,
do. And it was so cool. And I got to go like backstage, not like backstage, but like kind of like around
yeah.
there, and I got like to see what it looked like looking out into the audience, and I got a photo. And so I have it now on my phone like this. It's with like a green tint over it because that's like the
Yeah.
color for mental health. Back to the questions.
Back to the questions we
We
got.
just I'll put like there's kind of just a trigger warning for the next little bit because we're going to be touching a little bit on suicide. Yeah, it is Suicide Prevention Month as well. I realized that yesterday, so this must be the special. I guess it was meant to be that you came on today, this month. So first of all, how has suicide affected you?
So, obviously the ground and the stem of my story is, losing my father to suicide. That is the biggest way that suicide has affected me in my life, is losing my father, to suicide. Obviously, suicide is a very big, thing in this world. It's very unspoken of. A lot of people struggle with the thoughts and the actions, wanting to do things like that, and it's never really, discussed enough. Truly, I think suicide has affected me the most, with loss. Losing any parents or anyone close to you is a terrible experience, and it's a terrible thing to have to go through. But then, losing someone to suicide is just so much worse, and it feels so much more real because suicide, is more of a choice from someone versus, dying to like an illness like cancer. When someone chooses to die by suicide, it's, more or less their choice. Obviously, a lot of people that do take their own lives, aren't in the right headspace and don't understand what they're doing. But when someone dies to suicide, it feels so much harder because it's a choice that they made. And so, it's deeply affected me and my entire family. Losing, my father and my mother's husband, it's truly affected our family, and it makes it so much more difficult knowing that that's the choice that he made.
Yeah. Well, I actually have another question. What was the support like when that happened? Because I remember hearing about, this was like when I was in high school and I saw a video that was like, I think like 60 seconds. It was like, yeah, like a 60-second thing. And it was like about, children that end up in mental health units and stuff like that. And one of the parents like was talking about, they were in the, or they, one of like I think a mother was talking about her son and how he had like a traumatic brain injury or something, like was in a motorcycle accident or something. And during that time they got lots of support, like people bringing on food, casseroles, stuff like that. And then later on, he ended up going into the psych ward for something, and the support wasn't the same.
Yeah, so the support for our family was amazing. We had a lot of friends
Yeah?
and
Okay, that's
families,
good. That's amazing.
community. at the beginning, let me
Oh,
clarify at the beginning, within the first 6 months to a year, the supports that we received, support from, our community, our friends and our family was amazing for the first year. But then, as time moves on and, it gets longer and longer from the dates of when you lost that close person, people start to kind of disappear. And the unfortunate truth is there was a lot of people that were close in our lives when my dad was around. And when he passed, a lot of them disappeared. There's a few men in our lives that we had, and as soon as my father died, they pretty much pretended like we didn't exist. And so, there was definitely amazing support from friends and family for the first year. And then as time goes on and, people's lives move on, the support becomes less and less and less. We still have, a lot of friends and family that are here, but, at some point, you can't live in that moment forever.
yeah.
And when you look at supports, through, social workers or counselors or, the government, it's just terrible. My father had passed away and it took years for me to get any sort of covered support through like a hospital social worker or a therapist or psychiatrist. It was next to impossible, even though I had just experienced such a tragic, traumatic loss. It was next to impossible for anything to happen quickly. And it took years for me to be able to receive any sort of support that I needed. And it ended up having to be me advocating for myself. There's not enough resources and support out there for people struggling through loss, through mental health issues, through anything. And it's something that I unfortunately had to live through.
Yeah, unfortunately with the system right now, we do have a lot, there is a lot of self-advocacy that has to go into it. I was told in high school, when I was given an IEP and you were taught like you have to self-advocate. Like if somebody does this to you, like you have to advocate, like this is a legal document, like they have to follow, and obviously some didn't, and I don't have to be like this, and it would be like, it's just not, but yeah, unfortunately there is a lot of self-advocacy that has to go into it. Um, yeah,
It
yeah.
is unfortunate that the way, us as people have to receive support is by advocating for it ourselves.